Ever since they were released, the GFI Skylar and Orca have been on the throne of semi-affordable, feature-packed delay pedals. They sound incredibly good. They have experimental sounds, they have normal sounds, and they sell for around 230, 240 euros. But now I'm not so sure anymore if they are still king in this range. Enter the Alexander pedals Spaceforce and Rewind. They have more features, they have more algorithms, and they have a similar footprint. It's even a little bit smaller. So it seems like a no-brainer, but is having all these extra features really necessary? In this video, I'm gonna compare these four pedals so you can make an informed decision on which one to get. But before we get started, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. That would help me a lot. And if you want to score some of my gem tracks and or tabs for licks you can steal, you can find those on my Patreon page or become a YouTube member by hitting the join button down below. Here we go. So these Alexander pedals have stereo in-out with TRS, control, jack for an expression pedal, foot switch or MIDI control, 32 presets. You can assign any parameter to an expression pedal. You can ramp with a built-in foot switch. There is a USB port for firmware updates and MIDI control. As for GFI, you also get stereo in-out with TRS, a jack for an expression pedal or tap tempo pedal, 2 presets. You can assign any parameter to an expression pedal. You can also ramp with a built-in foot switch, and you have 4 reverb algorithms with the Skylar and 4 delay algorithms with the Orca. As for user interface, GFI Skylar has labeled knobs with repeats, time, level and modes. And the GFI Orca has parameter, decay, level and modes. The Alexander pedals have unlabeled knobs because their function might change when you change the algorithm. But you can read the function of the knob on the display. The GFI pedals have these clickety-clickety knobs, and they're used to access a second or even a third parameter with a single knob. Alright, let me take you through the controls real quick. On the Orca, there is time, repeats and level. When you turn a knob, it shows you the new value and the previous value, so you can always easily go back to where it was. Now when you press and hold the button and then twist it, it'll engage a secondary function, and if you press the button, then it'll map the expression pedal to that particular parameter. And then you have modes here, and when you press and hold that, you go into a global settings menu where you can do some pedal settings stuff. Same goes for the Spaceforce. Press and hold this knob, and then it'll show you which menu you want to enter. You can then say, I want to save, or want to go into the setup menu. Press this, and then you're in the setup menu, and there you can control all the deep dive pedal settings. Now going back to changing modes. Here you set the different modes on the Orca. Same goes for this. And then you see here on the display which algorithm it is. And if I turn any of the other knobs, it will show what I'm doing on the display as well. So you can have an actual readout of what your settings are at that moment. The display is small, so it's hard to read it from when you're standing up and bending down to twist a knob on your pedal board. But in the deep dive settings menu, you can also change what you're showing on the display. So it's very, very elaborate. Then where GFI uses presses of the knobs to go to a secondary parameter like so, Alexander Pedals uses this knob, and then you can go to a second page and a third page. So there is a lot to discover here, which is fantastic. All right, next I'm gonna let you guys hear all the algorithms, like 10 seconds each, just so you know what's going on. I'm gonna dial in the sound, play it a little bit, and then go to the next algorithm. Here goes. This is the ambient reflection on the GFI Orca. So, should you get one of these Alexander pedals or one of these GFI pedals? Well, in the end, I think it all comes down to what kind of player you are. Because sound-wise, they both sound, or all four of them sound incredible. Yes, if you're comparing one plate algorithm to the other plate algorithm, there will be differences. But when it's on your board and you're playing with that sound, you're gonna have a great time because They are fantastic, all 4 of them. It all comes down to what kind of player you are and what you're looking for in a pedal. If you have a board with a MIDI switcher, you want a deep dive, you want experimental sounds, you want a pedal that is an entire workstation of reverb and delay sounds, then get this, get the Alexander pedals. If you're a bit like me and you have a board with no MIDI switcher, you just want a good reverb sound, maybe some other tones that are a bit experimental but not too much, really easy to use interface, like set and forget, almost like analog pedals, then go with one of these GFI pedals because they're a lot easier to use than the Alexander pedals. There's a learning curve here, but once you master it, you're gonna have a great time. So let me know in the comments down below which one has your preference. And also please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because that would help me a lot. And if you want to score some of my gem tracks, you can find those on my Patreon page. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.